So I want to talk about Zion. He's averaging 24.4 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, and 2.9 assists. And then on February 12th, he had 36 points and he shot 93% from the field. This man is on fire. And I think we got to acknowledge that. And I think no one's saying that he's trash. But what is interesting to me is that his 11 and 15 Pelicans are not in the playoffs. They don't look like they're going to get into the playoffs. So how is it that Zion Williamson is playing so well, but this team is so shit? Ryan, what do you make of the Pelicans? Maybe it's a coaching standpoint. What do you think?
JJ Redick doesn't play enough minutes.
That's true. That actually is true.
Who are they better than, man? They're 11 and 15 right now. They're in a tough Western Conference. Who are they better than that's in front of them? Sacramento, maybe. Dallas, no. Memphis, Then you get the playoff teams. I think they're right where they're supposed to be.
But why do you think that they're still so bad though? With an all-star player, like a godly talent like Zion Williamson,
an all-star player with godly talent that's in his second year, and he missed most of last year. Right, he's young. He's in his first year. The rest of the roster's pretty young. Brandon Ingram's pretty nice as well, but he's young too. They're not ready for him, and they don't have a good enough roster to be in the mix at the moment.
Mukhtar, I'll move to you. What do you think of Zion Williamson killing it, but his team not really helping him with the exclusion of Brandon Ingram because he's balling?
Well, they're in the Western Conference and they can't play defense. They can't guard a pylon. They're like what? They're 28th defensively in the NBA. They allow 114 points per game, which is 23rd in the NBA. So that's a recipe for disaster. Steven Adams slows down the pace for this team. I don't know why he plays so many minutes, but they went from being top 10 pace team last year to now being like, I think, a 22nd. They're 22nd in the league in pace. So that takes away Lonzo Ball's game. That takes away Brandon Ingram's game. That takes away Zion's game. They have to force everything in a half court, but they're not bad. They still have a top 10 offense, but they just can't defend. So if they can figure out how to defend and Lonzo plays consistent, like, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I agree with Ryan. Their pieces are young. They're just not like they can't gel yet together because they haven't had enough experience in the league. But they're just, yeah, they are exactly where they should be. They're not better than the teams ahead of them.
I also think anybody with the last name Ball is destined to not make the playoffs as well.
We could come back to that. We could go back to that statement. Mukhtar, one thing that I want to ask you, and I'm pretty sure it was you. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're the one who had thoughts about Van Gundy's coaching, right? Like, you're the one who said that you don't believe that he should be the coach because his coaching philosophy doesn't fit coaching Zion and the team. Do you believe that that is one of the reasons why they're struggling as well, apart from the fact that they're still young?
I'll ask you one question. What's Stan Van Gundy most famously known for? Coaching defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 28th best defense in the NBA. It's clearly not working. He slowed down the pace. He took the ball out of Alonzo's hands. He really, I don't know. Maybe he's outdated for the NBA. I think they should have gave a chance to young guy, but I just don't like that they recycle old guys in the NBA constantly for coaches. That's just my opinion.
Yo, Jalen, we'll go to you. What do you think of Zion and the Pelicans?
I think they're underachieving. I think they're better than Memphis. I think they're better than Golden State in terms of roster composition. I think they're better than the San Antonio Spurs. They're also better than the Sacramento Kings. So I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams ahead of them. They're better than on paper. I think their issue is, and I said this before, that Steven Adams is not a good big man. At 7'1", grabbing 7 rebounds a game is atrocious. Their pace is slowed down drastically, like Muck said. They used to be top 10. They were 7th last year, I believe. 7th last year. This year, they're 22nd, like Muck said. I also think they have too many pieces. You have Steven Adams and Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes seemed to fit better in with those guys. Then you have Zion Williamson basically playing in the same areas that Steven Adams does. so that congests the paint, as well as you got Lonzo, you got Josh Hart, you got JJ Redick. Like you got to find minutes for all of these dudes, and then you have Eric Bledsoe, who can't shoot the basketball, refuses to defend. Like, what is? I'm genuinely curious as to what Eric Bledsoe's purpose is. Is just to be on the court and look like Geodude, or like to play back? Like, bro, he's so useless. He's so useless. But at the same time, we also have to realize they're only a game and a half out of the eighth seed, and there's so much basketball left to be played. Maybe they figure it out, maybe they don't. But it's too early to call them a shit team, like you said, Bina. Because like there's so much basketball left to be played. Like a game and a half out isn't really time to panic. Um, if you're the Timberwolves, obviously you should be panicking right now.
Yeah,
I don't
what's
think
up
you
with
should.
them? Seriously,
I don't think you should be
they just
panicking on the Pelicans. To be honest,
Perry, what do you make of Zion Williamson and the Pelicans?
I think. Hmm. I think when I look at the Pelicans, I remember watching them play and thinking to myself, their other players aren't really involved outside of Ingram and Zion. So I remember watching like them playing 2-on-5. So Zion's numbers are of course going to be great. He's a phenomenal prospect, but I feel like they need to develop some sort of offense where everybody can become a threat and utilize their other pieces because they're a very good team roster wise. But the way these players are being executed in terms of their function, I don't think they're being maximized for everything they have. Um, One of the I guess like analogies I could give is it's like you have the recipes to make the most delicious cake in the world, but you don't know how to break an egg, right? And if you can't assemble those ingredients to make that cake, then you're just left with flour, sugar, and what other stuff that you need to make the cake. They're not gelling right now.
So Jalen, I want to go to you because I know Ryan said something that like I think is very important is that like this team's still young. You and Ryan are not on the same page though because you say that they're underachieving. So you said that they're better than Golden State and Memphis and the Spurs in terms of roster composition, right?
hmm
So you believe that they can actually finish in the eighth spot when the season's all said and done?
I think it's a strong possibility. I think Golden State is going to do Golden State things, and with Steph Curry not having his running mate Klay Thompson, we don't know if Draymond's going to stay healthy. Like Steph Curry is gonna have to be like otherworldly, and don't get me wrong, he has been so far this season, but like he's gonna have to ramp it up because teams are gonna now we're getting into the nitty gritty part of the season where teams are gonna actually start game planning for Steph Curry. I don't think we've seen the best defensive schemes to stop Steph Curry yet, but I think there's a lot of basketball left, and I think the San Antonio Spurs are overachieving. Nobody's talking about this, but Greg Popovich is in the fifth seed with DeMar DeRozan as a star player. That's in the West. That's an accomplishment
six
and a
seed.
half. Sorry, sixth seed. That's an accomplishment and a half. But I think they'll come back down to earth, like we're seeing in the East with Charlotte, the Cavs, the Knicks. I think we can say the same in the West. I don't think we have the best eight teams in the Western Conference in their playoff positions. So I think that things are going to come back down to earth eventually.